Hello Loomers, this is Chadero _T on Instagram, and today we're going to make this candy string bracelet. This was designed by Late Loomer on Instagram, which you can click on the link below to visit her account, and it's a must-be to follow. She has some really great designs and is fabulous with color. So this is a really simple bracelet once you get the hang of the process. So my goal is to show you how I found it easiest to loop the bands, but in reality you kind of need to do what makes sure you do what you find comfortable. So just to give you a little bit of background on this bracelet, all of the colors that you see here are triple wrapped bands. So they're like a cat band wrapped 3 times around your hook, and this I will refer to as like the border. So I use the Rainbow Loom LE bands. I find those fabulous for this bracelet. I haven't tried it in any other band. I would be a little bit skeptical about using any of the silicone as they're sticky, but on the front side of your bracelet, okay, because this is a triple cap band, you want to make sure that all of your bands there are all nice and even. So you're going to want to pick one side of this bracelet, because if you turn it over, as you can see, that's the other part of your cap band. So I made mine where all of those were on this side, and then on the side that I want on my wrist, I straightened all of them out to make sure, they were nice and neat. So I'm going to use the same colors that I used in this bracelet, which are all, like I said, the Rainbow Loom limited edition bands. And this bracelet is made on the monster tail. So let's grab our supplies and get started. So you will need your monster tail. It is possible to do this on 2 pegs of your loom. I'll show you quickly. If you take your monster tail, or I'll just show you if you don't have one, 2 pegs on your loom is the equivalent distance of a monster tail right here. So you can, do it right on a regular loom. So this is a unique design, unique to me. You're going to be doing some hands looping with your hook, but you're also going to be using your hands as well. So it's a little bit, you kind of want to pay attention in the beginning. Once you pick it up, and like I said, you'll find your own way on how you want to hold your bands and cross them over. So there's basically like 5 steps to the bracelet after you start. So I'm going to use the silver bands, and these can be found in the mixed metallic pack, I believe it's called. Yeah, I think it's like white, black, silver, and gold maybe, but they are the round bands. So to begin this bracelet, we're going to take 3 of the same color bands. Okay, so we're going to take one band and triple cap it. So I looped it once, twice, 3. So you should have 3 circles on your hook. Okay, now we're going to take 2 bands, place them on our hook, and we want to make sure throughout this design that we do not overlap these bands. It's important to have 1 band on top and 1 band on the bottom. So I'm just going to stick these into my pointer finger and simply slide this on top. So we're going to put this in the middle, and this bracelet is, in my opinion, the severity of, you know, if whether or not it's a easy design or, you know, intermediate design, I think will be based a lot on what type of band you use. So because I'm using these LE bands, I'm confident because I have a lot of pull on them. They don't move around a lot. But anyhow, the reason I'm saying that is because you need to take it off your hook. Okay? So we want to make sure, like I said before, we have a top band and we have a bottom band. Okay? Just know which one is what. So we're going to take this and we're going to hold it where it's straight up and down. Take the top and bottom of 1 band and pinch it. And then we're going to take the top and bottom of the other band and we're going to pinch it. Okay? Then we're going to take these 2 ends that we're pinching and we're going to add them to our monster tail. So I'm just going to do one at a time. And I put this side on the right peg like that. And if you don't feel comfortable pinching, you can always use your hook and hold down your right side here, but on the opposite side you're going to add on that band. So this is what you should have so far. You have somewhat of a cap band in the middle and 2 bands, 1 on either side. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, so my goal is to not have my hands in the way, but it might be a little challenging. Okay, so step 1, and we won't have to do this in the remainder of the bracelet. We're just going to pick up, we're going to end up picking up the first band on these 2 pegs, but first you want to grab whatever color that you want, whatever color you want for your triple cap bands. Okay, that's the color or the band that we're going to use next. So I'm going to do like a rainbow effect. So I'm just going to grab 1 band and I'm going to wrap it around my hook 3 times. I wrap it around, you wrap it twice, which gives you 3 rings. That's what we're aiming for. 3 rings on here. Okay, so we just let that sit on our hook. Now, you're going to pull up, so I'm going to stick my hook in here, and I'm going to just hook the top band, pull it off of the peg, and then I'm going to go onto this side and I'm going to do the same. Just grab that top band and pull it off that peg. So the beginning of this, you need to be just a little bit careful because we don't have any security right now. The only thing you have are these 2 bands holding down your bracelet. So I'm going to turn my loom, or my monster tail. I'm going to take my thumb and my first finger and kind of, or one of your fingers, and just kind of make, I am so sorry. I forgot that I had it zoomed in. Okay, we want to secure the 2 bands down on our pegs right there. So, and I'm going to take my hand and turn it around where my thumb is on the top of my hook. And we're going to slide this band down. Okay, so as long as you make sure that you have these bands right here, let me get it out a little bit. Okay, and you feel confident, you can let them go. We're just going to take this band and one by one take and bring this over your hook. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So that is one step there that if you feel comfortable doing it another way, as long as you get that triple cap band over your hook and these 2 bands, and I just give it a little bit of a tug so you have some room on your hook right here. Okay, so you just completed step 1. Excuse me. So what we want to do now is we want to kind of keep this back on our hook a little bit right there. Grab 2 more bands that are your, I'm going to call them our border, so your dominant color. Grab 2 more of those, and this is where it comes in to make sure that your bands do not overlap. So we want to make sure that our bands excuse me, are straight. Add them to your hook, okay, and we're going to pull. And again, this is, you know, you can do this any way that you feel comfortable, but what we have to do is we need to pull those 2 bands underneath the 2 bands on our hook right now. So what I find easiest is I'm going to pull on the 2 bands on my finger and make them tight. I'm going to turn my hook, stick it down inside those 2 bands there, turn it back this side up, and carefully push these bands into the middle. And I just say carefully because again, we don't want to mix up what bands we have, which one is on top and which one is on bottom. Okay, so we take our hook out. Okay, I'm just going to even this out a little bit. So there's my top band, and they're on there, you know, really good because of the way that it's being looped. So you have your top bands right here. So what we want to do now is we want to take the bottom of the 2. Okay, this is the top band and this is the bottom. We want to grab the bottom and we want to lay it on top of those pegs. Okay, so we laid it on top and we still have unlooped this band up here. Okay, so you have completed the step 3. So step 4 is going to be taking your hook and we're going to take the bottom bands that are on the pegs. So you should only have 2 bands on both sides, and we're going to loop this bottom band up and over the peg. But we do want to make sure that we are going to loop it on the outsides of this band that we have in the center. So you can do this a couple ways. You can hold this up and place your hand on the back of the monster tail and loop this up and over. Or if you feel confident, you can simply just take this band and just make sure it stays on the outside of this band on top. As long as it's looped on the outside, you're good to go. So that's pretty much the process. Now it was a tiny bit different because we were just starting out. So this I can now show you exactly through the steps. So step 1 is to take whatever color you want your cap band to be, and we're going to wrap it around our hook. 1, 2. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Now we're going to take our hook and we're going to stick it through the band that's sticking up on the top. Okay, I'm going to turn my loom to the side. I'm going to just kind of make sure that my bands are secure on the monster tail. I'm going to hold my hook up, and we're going to simply pull this band over our hook onto these two bands. Just like that. So turn my loom or my monster tail around, and you can see there's a little bit of an opening. I'm just going to kind of tug on it to give us some room on the top. So you're going to keep your hook in here, and now you're going to take two of your border color bands, which mine are silver. Okay, and remember, our goal is to make them not get twisted up, so you want to make sure whichever one is on top and bottom stay that way, and put these on your hook. I'm going to hold them a little bit tight with this finger. I'm going to put my hands on my monster tail to kind of keep it down. I'm going to twist my hook down just to get it inside, turn it back up, and then carefully push those bands on top, and they are straight. So I'm going to remove my hook, and this is what you should have. So another option, okay, you make sure that you have that top band, both sides are for the top, is you can take your excuse me, your right hand, or it would be your left if you're right-handed, hold one side of the band with your hand, and you can actually just take your hook, place your hook inside that bottom band, and you can slide that on top of this peg, and then slide the other side on top of the peg. Whichever you find more comfortable is what you need to do. Okay, so this is an indicator I'm going to show you right here. Is every time you see two bands on your peg, that's when you know you need to loop over. So we have a single band on top, and we have two bands on our peg, so we are going to loop over, and we're going to make sure that we do it on the outside of this band. So I'm just going to kind of hold it over with my finger, grab that bottom band, bring it up and over, and do the same thing on the opposite side. Make sure I push that over. I'm just going to turn it just because I want you guys to be able to see here. Grab that bottom band and bring it up and over. So it is on the outside of this band here. Just a tiny bit, I'm going to push it down. And that's it. So now you should have two candies on your candy string. So let's repeat the pattern again. We're going to grab the color that we want for our candy, which I'm going to use purple. So grab your band, wrap it around twice, going to stick our hook through both sides of the band that's sitting on top, and I'm going to turn my monster tail, slide those down in there, kind of hold them so a little bit tight, you know, and then simply slide your cap band on top. Turn it back to the front. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a pull just so I have room on the top here to work with. So this is what you should have so far. Now we're going to take 2 more of our border bands. Hold them where you're confident that they're not twisted. I like to put them on my first finger so I can hold them. Okay, so we're going to place those in order on our hook. Kind of keep it a little bit snug. I'm going to twist just to get it underneath those bands. And then push the bands on top so they're in the middle. Okay, take your hook out, and as I mentioned, whatever way you feel comfortable. Another way that you can also do this to make sure that you have the correct bands is when you loop them through here, you can just go ahead and place them both on the peg like that. Okay, that way you know for sure you do not have your bands mixed up. And then you can go ahead and just take off your top band on both sides. That's another option. So you pick whichever you'd like. So with these LE bands, and they like to kind of get squirmy in that, with this one kind of laying the way it is, I'm just gonna hold it up with my fingers, secure my monster tail down, and then loop up the bottom band on both sides. That is it. So it's a really simple, once you get the hang of it, it's really simple. Okay, so we're going to start over again. So take whatever color you want as your cap band, wrap it around your hook twice, take your hook, stick it inside this band here. I'm going to turn my monster tail here. Make sure this band falls down in there. Then just going to slide this cap band over my hook onto those bands. Just push down like that. We're going to grab 2 of our border color bands, stick those on our hook, making sure they're not intertwined, and we're going to pull them through under the band on our monster tail. And whichever way you feel comfortable putting the bottom band on is what we're going to do. So I'm just going to put mine on with my fingers. So the bottom band is on the pegs. This top band is not looped. Now I'm going to take the bottom band on the peg up and over on both sides. Push it down a tad. So it's going to start growing now, where it's going to be coming out the bottom. I prefer just to have mine coming out the back, and then I'm going to let it grow down that way. So again, step 1, grab your candy color, wrap it around twice. Step 2, is to take that triple cap band. And put it onto this band. Give it a tug. Step 3. Grab 2 of your border bands. Put them on your hook. And slide them underneath the existing band on your hook. Placing that band in the middle of them. Step 4 is to take the bottom of the 2 bands and place them over top of the peg. And step 5 is to loop over our bottom bands. And give it a push down. So those are your 5 steps for the bracelet. So this is what it should be looking like so far. And believe me, when you're done with it, it's worth waiting until you're done to do your adjustments for your candies. It's cool to call it candies, huh? But this is what it will look like so far. So, like I said, I prefer just to have mine out the back here, and then as it grows, it's not going to get into my way because I want to be able to work where I can hold this onto my surface here. Okay, so again, grab your band. Step 1, wrap it around twice on your hook. Step 2, put these 2 bands on your hook and slide this cap band down on top. Okay, step 3, grab 2 of your perimeter bands, place them on your hook, and slide them through. Step 4, take the bottom band, place it on top of these pegs. And step 5, take the bottom band and loop it over. Awesome. Alright, I'm going to go just a little bit faster. So we're going to do another color. So take your band, step 1, wrap it around our hook. Step 2, place it over our peg onto this band. Step 3, take 2 border bands and pull them through. Step 4, take the bottom band, place it on your peg, and step 5, loop up the bottom band So, as you can see, we have a great candy string coming along here. I'm going to go ahead and do this with you just a couple more times, and then we will meet back at the end of our bracelet. So, if you need any assistance, you can always rewind and watch the steps over again. So let's see, colors, we go with blue. There we have it. So you guys go ahead and finish up your bracelet to your desired length. So this one here is probably like one of the first ones that I've made on the monster tail. Just a growing bracelet that you do not have to pull on. Okay, there is nothing to pull on to put it in place. As it grows is the tension, as you create it, is the tension that you keep it at to your desired length. So, you know, when you do a fishtail, you're wanting to pull on it to make sure that everything is at the correct length and whatnot. But this one, you do not pull on, you just let it grow out. So I know in this one here, I used 23 links, or 23 links, I'm sorry, 23 cap bands, and it is just a little bit shy, a little bit bigger than my wrist, so you could probably get away, and I have, you know, like a normal size adult wrist, but you could probably get away with having 20 of them. So go ahead and finish that up, and we will meet back here in a minute. This is what your monster tail or your bracelet should look like when you are ready to close it up. So what I do to close this that I think looks, you know, good is I take my hook and stick it underneath this band. Then I want to take my hook and stick it through the one side of the band that is up. I'm going to stick it through that other band there, and then last grab the other band that's on your peg. Okay, so you should have 4 bands on here, so you can take it off. Okay, now that we have it off of our monster tail and we have 4 bands on our hook, the way that I found good to close up this bracelet is I take my hook out, and what I want to do is I want to take this band out, okay? But just to be safe, I want to stick my hook into this bottom band. I want to bypass this top band. I don't want to stick my hook in it. I want to go over it. But I do want to stick my hook into these bands down in here, like that. Then I want to stick my hook into the other bottom band over here. Okay, so once you have it like that, you can go ahead and safely remove this band like that. Okay, and now what I'd like to do is I'm going to take it off my hook again, and I'm going to go through this top band, and I want to grab that bottom band and bring it inside. And these bands are, oops, they were crooked, that's why. Okay, so I want to go inside here, grab that band on the bottom, and bring it up. So now the band that was on the top is now underneath. So do the same thing for this side. I want to take and put my hook through this top band, and then I want to put it through this remaining band on this side, and I just want to bring it in and over. So now the top band is on the outside. Okay? So now you just have one band on the top, and then you can put your hook into both ends. And to me, it kind of makes it more adjacent to the design on how it's being closed. So this is the time that you grab your C-clip. And we're going to attach our C-clip. And pull out your hook. There we go. And I'm not going to connect it yet, but I think we all kind of have an understanding on how to connect it. So this design down here, okay, you can see the way it's loomed. It's pretty tight, and you don't have the typical cap band hanging out. So what I'm going to do is there is a band, so you have your candy, so your triple cap, your double or triple cap band right here. Then you have your perimeter color, that's the one we put on first. We're just going to take that and pull it down and make it straight. Okay, and make sure that your bracelet isn't twisted, and that is where you're going to attach the other end onto your C-clip, just like that. So I guess I will attach it now. But so this part is, you're going to want to probably go through here and make sure that all of your bands are straight. Okay, you can see like that one's crooked right there. That one, they're overlapped. So pick whichever side that you want to be facing out of on your wrist. Okay, and just go through each one of these candies and just kind of fiddle with them and it makes a cleaner look to have all three nice and neat lined up. So if you need to tug on it, you can do that. Take your fingernail and just want to move them around just to make them nice and straight. So that's also going to depend on what type of band that you've used, on how your bands are going to lay inside here as well. And there we have it, our candy string bracelet by the great late Loomer. Please be sure to check out her account on Instagram. She is a great loomer, and there we go. See, like that one right there, it kind of sticks up. So I just want to take this band, make sure it's in the center, so that alleviates that. So there is our candy string bracelet. It's a wonderful design, super awesome to make. I think it's nice and original. So I do have a little bit of a blinged version that I made, so you can stick around to take a look at that, or if you are done with your bracelet, just please make sure that you hashtag your designs on Instagram to candy string bracelet, late Loomer, and Chidero_T, and make sure you give me a thumbs up or a follow if you did like this design, and watch out for any other designs that are coming up shortly. Okay, so for you guys that are interested in possibly blinging this design, I have made this little one here with a few different options on what type of bling you can add. So in my gabillion things of bling, I picked out what I thought would fit the best and tried them on here. Everything you see here has a hole size of 6 millimeter, or I'm sorry, 4 millimeter. Okay, so that's an option here, which this one has, whoops, I'm sorry. This one has diamonds, rhinestones on the outside of it. This one is quite similar, but it's color. These can all be found at the craft stores. The one that I found the best to use, these are just a silver thick gauge. They are not an O-ring or a jump ring. What these are is, if you are shopping at Michael's, or you could go online to Beat Gallery, this is how they would come. And see, like this one says 8" 20 centimeter, so they're speaking about, you know, the length. But you're going to look right there, and these will all come on a string, okay, a long string, and they will say 4 millimeter on it. So these are right in here, so I like those the best. And you could also use perler beads. These are the half perler beads, but your goal is you want to find something that is equivalent in size as this double cap band here. So to me, the best that I found was this one right here, and the hole size is very, very important. If you happen to put one on and it's too big, it's going to just kind of carelessly move around on your bracelet, and you don't want that. So always stay true to the design. That's the whole point of when I bling a design. I want to make sure that it's, you know, true to it. So that's why I mentioned that these are what I suggest. You can also go with different, there's another type of O-ring, and this one is the double O-ring. So it's like a keychain kind of a concept. That one is like a thicker gauge like this, so it gives it a thicker appearance. That one can definitely be used, and that's it. I would not suggest going any higher than a 6 millimeter. I do recommend 100% a 4mm size. So there you go. And you're blinging this, instead of wrapping that cap band around, you're just simply going to put your bead over onto your bands. That's it. It's very, very simple. There's no tutorial needed for that one. So there you go. There is another option if you wanted to bling your candy string bracelet. So there you go. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you next time.